It's back.
The green train is running.
Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Fish Tank Hank, and today I have a special co-host with me. That is my son and junior boy, FinStanza.
Hi, Pops.
From the Fins bandwagon. And normally we're on a different show. So today, he
and a different
decided to
angle.
have
I'm
me host.
confused.
Bobby dipped out on me, so FinStanza was nice enough to come and join me today.
Yes, I'm always happy to join. That's why there was no bandwagon this week, because you'll see enough of my ugly face today and tomorrow for the pregame show. So I thought, you want to know what? I'll take a break. Plus, I get to relax. I don't have to host anything. I'm just here to answer questions today and tomorrow.
No. It's not quite that easy for you. So, anyway, we've had a nice long week. We have our sponsor. How about talking about our sponsor real quick for me?
Our sponsor is Caneswear. If you're looking for anything Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, obviously Miami Hurricanes, Inter Miami, Miami Marlins, I don't want to say Florida Marlins, or anything, check out Caneswear, 2255 University Drive in Davie. If you don't live in Florida or live in that area, just go to caneswear.com. Pick up all the stuff. They have great sales. I saw this morning they have 60% off over 1,500 items on in their assortment. They always get the latest and greatest stuff. Don't forget to check out Caneswear. They're phenomenal. Whenever I'm in Florida, it's the number one store I go to pick up my Dolphins gear.
Okay. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Now, Junior, how are you doing this week?
It's been one of those weird weeks where it was actually Black Friday. So the same way that the Dolphins had a good Black Friday, negating the injury, I was very, very busy with the business that I help run. We had our greatest Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend in the history of our company. I've been literally drowning in work related to that, but that's always a good thing heading into the holidays because we were worried that it wasn't going to be so good, but had the best week, like I said, best weekend, best week, Cyber Monday that we could have, and had some ups and downs, different things going on, but busy with my kids' activities and work stuff, but happy we had it. Honestly, though, Sunday was great for me. It was nice to watch football and just watch things happen. And some of the things we wanted to happen didn't, but at least the Bills lost. Yes, they played well against the Eagles, but it's still an L in that column, which only leads to better things for the Dolphins this week.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's nice to see Fins Up, everybody.
Fins Up, Hammer Time, Chris, Ender.
I don't have the chat in front of me.
Right? I will. I'm still producing, everyone. I'm still producing.
So I don't have the chat because I have something else going on where I only have two gizmos today.
It's all good. It's all good.
Anyway, let's talk about this playoff race. You know, let's talk about it. The Miami Dolphins won last week, as we all know, moving them to 8-3. And on the season, but still remain the fourth seed because the Chiefs, the Jaguars, and the Ravens all won as well. So, how important is the seeding for Miami? How important is that to you, Junior?
It's critical only from the perspective that home field for the Dolphins has been something that has become something that is paramount for them. You, over the last two seasons, haven't seen many losses at Hard Rock. I believe they're 18-2 or something to that effect in the last 20 at home. They play well.
They're undefeated, right, this year?
Yeah, this year they're undefeated. Last year, the last loss they suffered was against the Packers, but that was an anomaly game. It was kind of weird there. But overall, they're a very strong home team. They don't want to go into cold weather, even though they were able to survive it in Buffalo last year, and they almost won that football game playing with a third-string quarterback. You don't want to have to go into Arrowhead. Would I be less concerned going into Baltimore? Probably. Going into Jacksonville wouldn't affect me. I would love them to get that number 1 seed, because that just shows a lot of people that they've won. In order to get that 1 seed, they'll have quieted the haters on the fact that they can't beat winning teams, even though they beat the Broncos, who have a winning record now.
Yeah.
But yes, I would like them to host at least one playoff game. It'd be better to be second or first. I wouldn't necessarily want to be third or fourth, because in the next rounds you still won't have that home game, and the home crowd does make a difference in my mind. So for me, I would like them to be in the 1 or the 2 seed. It would concern me a little bit with the games they have left if they can't secure it, only because a lot of the other teams have injuries that they're suffering from, or have not played so well. The Dolphins are going this way a little bit on the terms of their defense. Their offense needs to find another gear right now. But I would be frustrated with the 4th seed, because that would mean that they ended up finishing probably 11-6 versus 12-5 or 13-4. So that's where which means they didn't have another good December, Hank, and that would frustrate me a little bit for them to have that narrative again that they didn't have a successful December.
Yeah, well, December is usually a month that we sit as Dolphins fans, and we start to commiserate. This is when we start to commiserate every year, and that's not happening this year.
No,
that's not going to happen. I mean, who do we got coming up next? We got we're away at the Commanders. Then we turn around and we come home for 3 games. And they aren't the toughest teams in the world we're facing. The toughest one that we're going to face will be the Dallas Cowboys at home. So, and then we go to the Ravens and then come back home again for the Bills.
Yeah.
So, and who knows with the Bills? They're up, down, up, down. I don't know what the Bills are doing. So
I find that the Bills, what they've come to realize about the Bills is that they're sort of the opposite of the Dolphins this season. They play up to the competition, but they also play down to the competition. Meaning that they're playing excellent when they have to go against Kansas City or they have to go against Philadelphia. They're going to play hard for that game. If they have to go face a team like the Broncos, who were coming up a little bit, or they have to go face a team like the Jets or the Patriots, it's not such an evident dominating win. So for me, that's where they are. They're one of those teams that sort of they get ready for the big game. So I think, but they don't get ready for the games that don't matter. They haven't taken care of their own business.
All right. So it sounds like you are concerned where we finish.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but not for the purpose of the playoffs. It's for the narrative that they did not have a good December. Because the difference between first and fourth, or first, second, and fourth for me is how they did in December. That's what I see.
Well, I looked at the games and where we're all at, with the top 4. Because if we go into the playoffs, I'd be okay at 4, and here's why. If we go in at 4, that just means that everybody else won the same amount of games we did, or less. That's all that means at this point in time.
Or more.
We're just hoping that somebody else drops more games than we do right now.
Yeah.
Out of those 3 above us. So the good part is we would play whoever the number 5 seed is. Right now, the number 5 seed's the Steelers. I'm not concerned with the Steelers, to be totally honest with you. So that would be a nice warm up to what's coming up probably, and we would have a home field advantage for that one.
Yes.
So, for me, it's kind of a little bit of a mixed bag. Of course, I want us to win the AFC.
Yeah.
And win the AFC East. Of course, I want all those things to happen. I want us to have the number 1 seed and have a bye, of course. But if I'm looking at it and being realistic, we'll probably drop 1 game, at least 1 game. And I think that would be either going to Baltimore would be the main one I'd be concerned with, is going up to Baltimore, especially if the weather's bad. So where do we sit with all that? Everybody else has to, the Kansas City Chiefs, you look at their schedule, you look at some of these people's schedule in comparison to ours, and you know that they're going to be doing some winning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's common sense, actually.
Yeah.
So what do you think as far as if we get in the playoffs? Who do you want to see us face if we have to go away?
Oh, the only team that concerns me with playoff aspirations is the Chiefs at home, because Baltimore has yet to prove, no matter how good they've done in the regular season,
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, who's been in the league a couple of years already, has won an MVP, has never been successful in the playoffs. Jacksonville had a good game against the Chargers, and then but they've been inconsistent too, hot, cold at their moments. Last game against the Texans, which they ended up winning, there was a lot of poor play calling where they almost lost that game against the Texans. To be honest with you, actually, I reflect. The two teams that concern me in the AFC right now are the up-and-coming Texans, because you don't know what you're going to get with them, and the Chiefs at home, because you have a playoff strong team that does phenomenally at home. And also the Chiefs have only really played at home in their playoffs with Patrick Mahomes. They don't know what it is to go on the road. So that is something I want to sort of get them out of their comfort zone in that.
If we look at the Chiefs real quick, okay? If we take a quick look at the Chiefs,
yeah,
they could basically win out. They have Green Bay, the Bills, Patriots, the Raiders, the Bengals, and the Chargers. Okay?
You know what game I think they could lose?
The Chargers for me.
Tomorrow,
Green Bay, huh?
It's in Green Bay, and it's supposed to snow.
Ah, okay. All right.
So it could.
I was thinking the Chargers they might drop.
The Chargers game, I think, is going to be one of those. Just the Chargers are just closing out their season. Brandon Staley's been a mess there. You saw what happened last week, where the guy just doesn't stand a chance. I made the joke to somebody this week that the reason why you see Dak Prescott having an MVP season is he got a bit away from Kellen Moore, and now you see Justin Herbert in the offense there. Kellen Moore, yes, he's having a decent season, but the guy just doesn't stand a chance.
And the Jaguars don't have a tough season either. End of the season, they'll probably drop too.
Yeah. Right now, I'll be totally honest. The NFC's top three are more consistent and have had better seasons overall in terms of, and have put a little more fear than the teams in the AFC. The AFC was supposed to be this juggernaut conference this year. Due to injuries, a lot of teams have fallen off, and just teams have not been consistent. Right now, if you go into the AFC, it's like rolling a dice right now. No team has been consistently great all throughout the season. Each team has suffered a significant injury or has not been where they need to be. Kansas City struggling with the wide receiver core. Their defense is really holding them in. Yes, you have Patrick Mahomes, but there's been games where Patrick Mahomes has not been Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens have played well because they have Lamar Jackson, but they're a very good regular season team. They lost J.K. Dobbins at the beginning of the year. Yes, Gus Edwards has been there, but now they lost Mark Andrews. You're not sure what's going to be there. The Jaguars have just been hodgepodge, similar to the Dolphins. The Dolphins have to figure out their offense now because it's just been a little too inconsistent the last couple of weeks. Then you have the Texans, who are just an up-and-coming team. The Steelers have no offense. The Browns are now putting Joe Flacco in tomorrow. But you look at the AFC, I'd be more scared to go face San Francisco or the Eagles right now. Dallas is one of those teams now where they're a great team, but they're sort of like the Dolphins, where who have they really beaten? And the team that they played well against the Seahawks this past week, a lot of people, even Al Michaels, was really upset during the course of the game, at the end of the game, because something was a little shady there with the reffing. And and actually in that game, I don't know if you know this, Hank, it's the first time since 1960 not one team punted. So that just shows you Dallas's defense was not great on that day. And I think it might be a shootout on the game they face the Dolphins. I think you're going to see a lot of points with the Dolphins and the Cowboys on Christmas Eve.
I won't mind that. I won't mind that at all.
Yeah, I know you won't mind that. Right now, my concern right now for the Dolphins is the fact that they can't give away games. And that's what they've been trying to do the last couple of weeks. They've been keeping teams in the games. You were at that Oak Raiders game, and you look at the Jets game. They were saying to the people, I'm beating you, I'm dominating you, but here's a freebie. Come close, and then we'll get away. But that's where I'm concerned right now, is that you need to be able to stay strong in those tight games. We're giving the games away. We're
Right.
making the games more interesting.
So
when they need to be.
Let's talk about our injuries for a minute.
Yeah.
So left tackle Armstead had suffered a quadricep injury. He's been practicing though. He continues to get injured over and over again. Is this somebody that in the offseason we should cut bait and move on?
No. The reason why I say no, while a lot of people have said yes, is because there's something about the offensive line when he's there. If you look at Hard Knocks, when they went out for dinner, he was leading it. It's about having a leader. It's about having that person in that room who people look up to, and that's what he brings. It's his leadership ability that I'm more than his play. But his play when he's there has been good. We're very comfortable when Teron Armstead is there. If he's always been one of those guys who's played with a nagging injury. It's been the lifeline of his career, but he's been able to play in the league for over a decade with that. You can never, and as we learned this year, you can never have too much depth at offensive line, but you also need to have a star on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I believe outside of Tyreek Hill and Tua, even more than Jalen Ramsey, more than anybody, no one has more deciding power and control over what he's doing than Teron Armstead. Teron Armstead is either second or third in terms of the power he gathers towards his team on the offense. When people want to go look to people, you have to look to your quarterback. But more than that, you're looking at Tyreek and you're looking at Armstead, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, for me, if it costs too much to let him go, then keep him.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me. And, if it costs us too much, then just keep him for that year. And then I think his contract's up anyway, right?
Correct. But also, we're also in that window where you need, we've shown this year that you can never have too much depth at offensive line, and the leadership does matter. So yeah, I would not be too concerned. Because even right now, if you went in, Kendall Lamb is great. He's been great for us, but because he's been able to be a swing tackle, not because he's been the guaranteed starter of that line.
Okay. Well, how about the Dolphins defense then? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. The
Dolphins defense had quite a season. They ranked near the bottom of the league during the first half of the season, but now breaking into the top 10 and sitting at 7th overall. What do you think about Miami's defense at this point of the season, and how important will it be in Miami's playoff push?
As we all know, because we've seen it many times, defenses win championships. And this defense was very hard to look at for the first couple of weeks. It was a new scheme. We were missing some players. It made a very big difference. I said that when Jalen Ramsey was traded, he was the linchpin of this defense. And I believe they're they're the top defense overall since Jalen Ramsey's actually been back. We would not be 8-3 without this defense. It's been a tale of two seasons for the Dolphins, where the offense led them for the first half. The second half of those first 11 games has been the defense. And we're only going to go right now as far as our defense will take us, because our offense, yes, has had moments, but if our offense has an off game, the defense could, the defense can sort of counteract that. You can sort of win with that. The offense cannot only score 40 points. For me, the defense right now, obviously losing Jalen Phillips is a big hurdle we have to overcome. But Andrew Van Ginkel will go back to where he was at the beginning of the year, where he was a crazy person and was doing phenomenally well. I don't think he'll play to have any snaps tomorrow, but Jason Pierre-Paul is a two-time Super Bowl winner and he's played a 4-3. He's played a 3-4. He can adjust to any defense. He's a veteran. There's depth on that defense. Christian Wilkins is proving his worth this year. Bradley Chubb is proving his worth. Xavier Howard's been quiet because he hasn't had to do much because they're not going to him. Jalen Ramsey's done a great job. Javon Holland's been done a great job. Deshaun Elliott's doing a good job.
Do you think Ogba is going to do something?
Ogba had a sack and a half when he left. Ogba is going to be there as a great. He's my Kendall Lamb of the offensive of the defense. He's there when you need him to be, and he'll have to chip in where he has to be. He's like your sixth man. He's like your sixth man on the defense, like in basketball, where the guy comes off the bench and is there to get what you need in that moment. And I think he's adjusted well. I think he's adapting well. I think he sees this as an opportunity because next year they're going to have to figure something out with him. But he also might be able to prove his worth if Jalen Phillips is not ready.
Well, so now that Jalen Phillips is out, who do you think is going to have the most sacks in this game?
Bradley Chubb.
Bradley
Chubb is going
to
play for his guy. No, I think Bradley Chubb is going to play. I don't know if you saw this on Hard Knocks this week yet, but while Teron Armstead likes to go for dinner with the offensive line, the D line, the linebackers and the defensive ends go to Bradley Chubb's house, and he likes to host them and guide them and support them. He is going to show what he's been able to do. He's going to have a great, because I think Van Ginkel is going to drive the defense's bananas, and they're going to run away from him, and they're going to run into the hands of Bradley Chubb.
All right. I like Ogba. I think that he's going to reap the rewards of what Chubb does.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think Chubb has been making an impact. It's just between him and Phillips, it was a balance. I think they're going to try to protect from Chubb a little more than they worry about Ogba, is my point.
Yeah. I just want to interrupt Thirsty just let Thirsty know. Thirsty, I'm not hosting. I get to sit here and be Hank today, while Hank gets to be Bobby. So I'm on the right side. Get used to it for today. On bandwagon, I'm on the left, and then I'm on the right. But when I'm not.
Fins up, Thirsty. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So, Junior.
Yes.
Miami versus Washington. Give me your 3 keys to victory.
My 3 keys?
Yeah.
Very simple. No turnovers. No turnovers. No turnovers. That's all. Everything else doesn't matter what you do in the game. You get a couple penalties. You miss a field goal. Jason Sanders not missing any field goals. You muff a punt. Not going to happen. Honestly, it's the turnovers. It's the only key. You don't turn over the ball. Last game, we had 3 turnovers, and those 3 turnovers were costly in terms of the momentum of what happened with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But I'm kidding. It has to be no turnovers from Tua. Tua has to get rid of this. It's becoming where every game we're expecting him to make that mistake. Second, you need to get turnovers yourself, because I find that that's the one thing that the Dolphins defense is missing currently, is they're not getting turnovers except for Ramsey.
Yeah.
And just control the clock, because you don't want Sam Howell, who has a good arm, who's leading the league in passing yards, to be able to get that ball, because you have to remember, we're facing McLaurin, we're facing Dotson, we're facing that group. Their defense is nothing. They traded away Chase Young, Montez Sweat. They don't have much left on their defense. Josh Harris, the owner, is already thinking about next year. Ron Rivera is going to be on his way out at this point. So for me, it's about no turnovers, dominate the time of possession, and get turnovers yourself. Because that's where I want to see a 60-minute game, and it'd be great to get it on the road.
Well, for me, I think we need to establish the run and stay on it.
But they're better against the run.
We have to establish the run against the Washington Commanders,
but they're better against
who are supposedly a sucky team. Well, then we should be running the ball all day long.
But they're worse against the pass.
I understand that
they're like bottom against the pass, and they're like mid to late against the run. But Achane will be there. Achane will get his runs, and so will Mostert. The worry I have about Mostert, he likes to fumble the ball. That's my only concern. Touchdown machine, but fumbles the football.
Well, that's my first key is establish the run and run the ball. Because if they suck as bad as everybody says, we don't want to turn the ball over. If you don't want to turn the ball over, there's no sense in throwing the ball all over the place when you don't need to. So for me, it's establish the run. The second thing we have to do is we need to get some sacks. It's really that simple for me. We need to get some sacks and keep pressure on the quarterback, which in this game we should be able to do.
Do you know who the most sacked quarterback in the league is?
Yeah.
Sam Howell.
Howell, yeah.
He's the most sacked quarterback.
So, like I said, you got the two things that are glaring right there that we should be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third thing we have to do is, like FinStanza said, is turnovers. We can't be turning the ball over because I don't care who you play. You turn the ball over enough, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah. But I agree with you about the running game and the reason why, and I thought should have mentioned this earlier, and this is actually should be the biggest key actually. Short yardage situations. They are by far in the NFL the worst team in short yardage. Every person's asking, why doesn't Mike McDaniel run the football on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 and just try something? He's not trying that. And that's actually what I'd like to see tomorrow is when you have a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. What I liked last year when it sometimes worked, sometimes did it. You used to see Ingold, you used to see Durham Smythe come across, get behind the center and push. Yeah. I'd like to see something like that. Yeah. Honestly, bring Christian Wilkins in.
Yeah.
And from behind. And what you do is you put Ingold or you put Durham Smythe across the middle. They go hike it, and then Christian Wilkins comes forward and pushes the pile. Try something different. Do something better than what you're doing now, because what you're doing now is very predictable. If they actually run the ball, people are going to be surprised.
So let's take a look at the tail of the two tapes real quick. Okay. Miami's 8-3, Washington's 4-8. Yeah. We have a 5-0 home record. They have a 1-4. We have a split 3-3 on the road. They're 3-4. Average points scored, we're scoring 30.8, where they're scoring 20.5. 22.8, almost 23 points, average points allowed, and they're allowing 29.2. So we're pretty close in that category right there, which is not good. And offensive rank, we're number 1, they're 14. Defensive rank, we're 7, and they're 29th. So looking at the tail of the tapes, leaning on that great gray matter inside your brain there, who wins and what's the final score?
The Dolphins should be very relaxed in this game, and just honestly, it's a non-conference game. It's an easy pickup for a win any given Sunday, but this is not a team. I think the Commanders have to be going on their bye next week. Like, they're already focused on let's take 2 weeks off. I think they're not going to be pressing hard. They know this season is futile for them. They're not in the division where they're not in the South, where I want to make a funny joke before I give you the score. Do you know that the Carolina Panthers, who are 1-10, still could win their division? Think about that. They're 1-10 because the team that is in first place has 5 wins.
Yeah.
So there's still 7 games left.
I know.
So they actually could win their division if they won out. It's actually insane that you could actually say that. The Miami Dolphins have to get, if they win, they're 9-3, 6-6. You have a 3-game gap on the Buffalo Bills. You pretty much have basically clinched the AFC East in theory in your mind for this, because they're not winning out the. Think about that. Literally for us, we're going to be at 9. The Bills are 6-6, which means they'd have to win out to get to 11. You'd have to win 2 of your last 5, which is not going to. And you look what you're facing. There's no way. So for me, this should be a win. There's no question in my mind. And the Miami Dolphins, they will score. I do believe that they will score. Pike Cheetah, they will score points. The Commanders a little bit, only because they like to throw the ball. But I don't think they'll score enough points. I think it will they'll get their average points scored. I do think they'll get around the 17. I say about 17 points for the Commanders. But I do see a huge push for the Miami Dolphins tomorrow. There is another Dolphins invasion happening in FedEx Takeover. Last week was MetLife Takeover. This week it's FedEx Takeover. And I do see the Dolphins putting up 38 points. So I do see a final score of 38-17.
Ooh, 17, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, see, he can't stay away. Fins up, Bobby. Fins up.
Who's Bobby Finch talk? Who is this guy? I don't know him. Got home from where? Who are you?
Well, you gonna jump in here or what?
He's not going.
Come on, we're waiting on you before we give our score. Before I give my score, jump in here.
Yeah, and then So go for it. So, what are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are simple. Washington Commanders will get 12 points. We will win. There he comes. I knew he couldn't stay away.
Don't bully me. Don't bully me into coming in like that.
I'm bullying you.
Are you coming? Come on, man. Hold on.
So, I figure the Commanders are going to get 12 because I think they're only going to get field goals. All right. So the question is, will they get down there that many times for me? So I'm going to change that. Let me say 9 because I don't think they'll get down there 4 times. Let me say 9 points. And the Miami Dolphins will score 42. 42. They're going to score a lot on them. They're going to score a lot. I mean, 29th defensive rank against the first offense. It's going to get a little ugly in there. So it's going to get a little ugly in there. You know what I mean, Bobby?
It's going to get ugly. I think so.
So,
he's following the outline to a T.
He's doing amazing.
I did an amazing job. I morphed it into what actually affects us here. And, hey, I'm good at this.
Bobby, are you telling me that your team you played couldn't shoot one basket?
They didn't score a basket. We
won
36.
Who were you playing? 4-year-olds?
My son's in the 5. I'm coaching the 5 and 6-year-old division. So yeah, they're about.
How did his team score 18 baskets while the other team scored 0?
We coached a good game. Can't give all the credit. We got to give all the credit to the players. Defensive.
Bobby, you're missing your collar. He thinks you're a priest.
I know. I already did my sign. But college game, they give me your.
By the way, how am I doing as producing? I even fixed the overlay when you popped.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It looks great. But no.
I know he put you in the wrong seat, but that's all right.
I can't because their names are there.
Hey.
And by the way, you're the one who said Junior. He is the founder. He's the creator. He gets the number 1 spot no matter what.
Well, we had a fun game. The kids did great. It was a lot of fun. It was an exercise too because fish tank. I'm running up and down the court. I'm like, shoot, pass, rebound, come back, stay on your guy. Like,
you got to tell them everything to do.
Oh my gosh. I'll be honest. Before the game, I'm going, man. It's my first time coaching, especially basketball, and I'm saying to myself, oh man, these parents probably think what an idiot. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing during practices because I'm with these little children. But after the game, they're all like, "Great job, coach!" I'm like, "Okay, thank you, woohoo! Want to know, baby?" So it was fun. fun. It was a lot of fun.
Congratulations on your first win.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
More importantly, congratulations to your son.
That's correct. My son, yes, he had a very good game. He scored 2 points, but he had multiple assists and rebounds. I was real proud of him. It was a fun game overall.
I'm proud of him, and I didn't even get to watch the game.
I'll let him know. I'll tell him. Fish Tank says he's proud of you. Congratulations. I'll let him know.
Yeah, he did a great job, obviously.
Bobby, since I know this is not football related, but just did Tristan have fun at Raw?
Tristan had a lot. Audrey and Tristan had a blast at Monday Night Raw. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. They had it at the Watching Wrestling, screaming for Randy Orton. Audrey was screaming for Dominic and was, literally pissed off when he got RKO'd and he lost. She hit my phone off my hand because she got so upset because I was videotaping her. But it was a lot of fun. We had a blast.
Okay. So Bobby, actually Hank should ask you those questions, not me.
Yeah, Hank's leading today.
Well, I already asked him what the final score was going to be.
You asked me?
Bobby.
Yeah, I asked Bobby, what's final score going to be?
Oh, did you guys do keys of the game already?
But you could do them.
Yeah, we did the keys to the game already.
Can I give you my keys and I'll give you a score?
Let me give you a key. Go ahead.
All right. So, a good thing I have my notes here because I had it for tomorrow for pregame.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, man.
He knew he was going to sneak in. He was hoping to pop in. He was hoping to pop in.
Go ahead.
So, anyway, my keys to the victory for the Dolphins tomorrow. Dolphins offense needs to light this up. Needs to light up the Washington defense. They're the 29th ranked defense in the NFL. They got to run it through the air and on the ground. Devon Achane expected to be back. Raheem Mostert, get that running game going. So I expect this. I expect it to be a very high scoring game. Defense can't sleep on Washington's 14th ranked offense. They scored 31 points on the Eagles defense. They have to attack Sam Howell and force turnovers. And in regard to turnovers, my third key is win the turnover battle, protect the ball. No dumb mistakes. Do not give the Commanders a chance to think they could win. Finish it.
We all agree that the turnovers need to stop.
Oh, for sure.
We all had that as one of our keys. So
did you both happen to see Hard Knocks, though? Did any of you see Hard Knocks this week?
I did. Part 2.
So if you saw Tua coming off, he admitted it right away. It was his bad. It's not like he just didn't slam his helmet or anything like that. I would like him to get upset with himself a little bit more, actually. I want a little more frustration. But McDaniel also admitted, honestly, I really want the Dolphins to be Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. If something is evident, don't overthink it. They're overthinking these plays. Stick with what works. Honestly, run, Hank said, establish the run. I want to see running plays. I don't know if you thought about this, Bobby. I mentioned, I don't think you came on yet. I would love to see a play that worked last year or 2 years ago, I think it was, where you see Ingold or Smythe coming across. They hike the ball, they push. And then I'd actually sneak in a Christian Wilkins in the backfield and have him sort of do the de facto tush push and push it forward. Try something different. This is the month of December. Try something different because to do the pass is so predictable. The defenses are waiting for it. Ron Rivera will eat that up tomorrow, even with his very, very poor defense.
Yeah, and that's my point. Even with the 29th ranked defense, do not sleep on the Commanders. They are again, they lost to the Eagles on October 29th, but they lost 38-31.
But it's an interdivisional game.
Hands up, Chris.
Absolutely, that's fair too. It's a divisional game, but still, they scored 26 points against Seattle. Now you look at the last 2 games; they obviously can't score more than 20, but that's a good thing. But you can't do that. Right. Now, I will say, which I've said before, Fish Tank, is that when we talked about the turnovers, that it needs to stop. But the difference of this team compared to other Dolphin teams throughout the years, the turnovers could kill you. They could catch you. So that's why they need to stop. But this team has been overcoming them. The defense is overcoming those mistakes on offense. And that's what's different about this football team. In regards to final score, I was going to save it for tomorrow for pregame, but obviously we'll talk more on other stuff on pregame. But my game prediction, I think you came in a little low, Evan. I think you were in the 30s. Was it
38-17?
38-17. Fish Tank had 42-9.
To 9.
So I actually have 44-14 Miami. Miami's going 44 points, 14.
I'm actually the
Oh, we're
conservative
close
one.
again, hombre.
I'm
We are,
conservative. So basically, I'm thinking the Commanders are going to score more, and
Which
the
is fair.
Dolphins are
Which
going
is
to.
fair.
I have to go back to being the host. When I'm the guest, I don't do such a good job with I'm a little more conservative.
Well, you got to think. Look, Commanders offense again, 14th. They could score more again, whatever. But our defense is playing at another level right now.
Let me ask you though.
And you're looking at practically first versus worst. So
would you
come
take
on.
this score? Would you take 38-17, no turnovers, or would you take your scores with Tua still turning over the ball once or twice?
No turnovers.
Like, are you willing to see a little bit less of a defensive effort without Jalen Phillips, but a more succinct game from the offense, or still a dominating effort from the defense but still a fluttering offense? Even because the Dolphins are the team, Dolphins could score 44 but still suck with their with the turnovers.
Well, again, I don't want to see any turnovers, but if they score 44 points, whether that's all split between the offense and the defense, and they finish the game with 42-44 points, and it's a W, the Dolphins are 9-3, and they get closer to number 2 seed, number 3 seed, and spread out the East, I'm going to be happy either way.
They're clinching the East. If they win tomorrow, there's no way. They clinch it tomorrow because there's no way the Bills can win out 5 games.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Okay. With that said, gentlemen, I have to eat lunch. I have to go.
Okay.
So,
after 42 minutes, he has to eat lunch.
Being I'm hosting, which I get to do, I get to call the time. And it's time. It's time. We're out of here. So, we want to thank everybody for joining us. And most of all, we want to thank our sponsor. Who wants to thank him, Bobby or FinStanza?
I already did it once. Bobby could do it after.
Oh, hey, Caneswear, man. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Again, you look at. Did you get that hat from Caneswear, or was it from this team store?
This one is Caneswear.
Caneswear. So you look at that hat right there. They have everything from Dolphins, the Marlins, Miami Heat, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami. They've got it all. Caneswear, 2655. Oh my goodness, Evan, help
University Drive.
South University Drive in Davie, Florida. They have great stuff. They got an outlet there as well, guys. They got a big sale that started at Thanksgiving. I think they're still going there.
They now have 1,500 items on clearance for 60%.
Wow. Guys, again, if you're a Dolphins fan or any fan of Miami in general, but a Dolphins fan, you want to get some great merch and Mike McDaniel shirt, cool graphics on your shirts, whatever, check out Caneswear. If you can't get to the store, easy, go to www.caneswear.com. And if you're outside the United States, they ship. Outside of Florida, they ship. If it's over $99, it's free. Caneswear, man, awesome. We're so happy to be partnered up with them.
And Hank,
awesome job.
Before you close us out, because you typically wouldn't do this, would you like me to talk about what's coming up on the Fin's Talk Sports Network?
Sure, go ahead.
Coming up tomorrow at a special time, 10:30 Eastern, to accommodate FinStanza, who will not be logging in directly into the producer section. Who will not be going right into the producer section. He will be clicking on the link so he doesn't end broadcast mid-broadcast. He refuses to do so. I will be there for the hour and 15 minutes of the pregame show.
Is this his rant?
10:30 a.m. tomorrow, pregame show. Myself and the beautiful fish tank Hank in the top right corner. I'm just kidding. Bobby Finstock. Today, Bobby, I grew the beard and I have the glasses just for you to try to match and look as pretty as you. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. And post game tomorrow at 8 p.m.
That's right.
All right. With that said, we want to thank everybody for coming out today. And as always, we want to wish all of you fins up.
That's right.